Hi everyone, it's Lisa here for Honeybee Stamps. Thanks for joining me for another card video. Today it's all about using my coordinating dies to create masks, and we're going to do some ink blending. I'm going to show you a quick and simple way to use these the Paradise Bloom stamp set. No coloring is required with this technique. So I picked some of the larger dies from that Paradise Bloom set, and I ran them through my die cutting machine using inexpensive cardstock. I cut 3 or 4 of each design just to make sure I had enough for 3 panels, and if I have any left over, I'll just tuck those in the back of my stamp pocket to use later. I'm going to arrange the die cut pieces on my card panel. Now, you don't have to do a slimline card with this technique. You can use this for any size card that you want, and I wanted to let you know that you could do this with masking paper, but in my opinion, that's a lot of masking paper to be using for this technique. So that's why I decided it would be better to use the cheaper cardstock and use my repositionable tape on the back of each piece to hold it in place. Now, with everything secure, I'm going to go ahead and cover this entire panel with navy ink. Now, I've done 2 panels with the navy ink and I've done 1 with coral ink. I'm only going to show you this one panel because the process does not change. It's the same no matter what color ink you use. And you could also, I'm using dye ink, but you could use distress inks, oxides, pigments, whatever ink you decide to use. Just be sure you give yourself adequate dry time so that you don't end up with any smudges. Now, before I started removing those DIY masks, I went ahead and cleaned up my work area, and I also cleaned up my fingers so I wouldn't end up with any smudge marks. So here's the navy, and now here's the coral panel that I did. I'm going to put this in my Misti, and I'm going to stamp the images. Now, because the die cut mask are larger than the actual stamped images, you're going to have that nice white area on the outside of the outlined image, and I just love the way this looks. And I used that same exact ink that I used to create the background. You could do this with some gold heat embossing, and that would be gorgeous. Okay, so one of my panels ended up having a couple of places on it. It shifted a little bit in my Misti, and so that top left image was a little bit blurred. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to grab my Transfer Gel Duo and a paintbrush and put some really thin layers in different areas on my panel, and that'll help to camouflage the mistakes that were there. So just real thin layers. It dries super fast when you use real thin layers, and then just lay your foil down and rub it with your finger and it transfers right away. It's so easy. Now for my sentiment, I'm using the Hello Summer sentiment from the Hello Summer stamp set. I'm going to stamp it with my Versamark ink and heat emboss it with gold embossing powder. So this technique is super easy. It's a great way to get another use out of this stamp set without having to color. Sometimes I don't want to color. I just want to sit down and play with my inks. So I thought, you know, this might be a really fun technique to share. And there's our final cards. I just used some liquid adhesive on the back of the panels and centered them on my card bases, some mounting foam to the back of the sentiments, and added those to the cards. Easy peasy. So I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope you'll click that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of new content to the channel. For more information on the products used, head over to the Honeybee Stamps website. Until next time, take care.